Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Over here I read anonymous stories online, so if you like listening to anonymous stories, please do not forget to like, comment and subscribe for more. The things we saw during SRC elections. You people, this SRC elections there, if you don't know, better stay out of it. Some years back, I went to hide the exact year. I saw something that made me fear these so-called aspirants for life. If I had known what I was getting myself into, I wouldn't have followed Kobe, not the real name. That night, Bachale, here we are. Some people may think it's just a writer, but I don't really care. Those who have ears should listen. It was during campaign season and everyone was hyped. Aspirants were organizing free shuttles to hostels, sponsoring breakfast and throwing parties. That's the part you see on the outside, but let me tell you behind the closed doors. Charlie, these people are doing things that will make you question your entire life, I swear. Kobe was working for one aspirant. The guy was fucking loaded. Money wasn't his problem at all. Every day, he was dashing us cash, promising better days if he won. Kobe kept telling me to join the campaign team because there was good money inside. I wasn't really interested. But one night, Kobe called me and said, "Bro, I beg, follow me. There is this serious meeting tonight. You need to see something." I should have stayed in my hostel. I just want to share all that happened. Who knows? My life is at stake. We took an Uber around 10:17 p.m. to East Legon. The house we entered, it was a mansion. Big gates, flashy cars parked in the driveway, and security cameras everywhere. When we got inside, the place was too plush, like polished tiles, chandeliers, and everything some. But as soon as we entered, the vibe changed. The air inside was heavy, like you could feel something wasn't right. We were led downstairs into what looked like a basement. Apparently, it was a garage, except the cars were parked outside, so I think. It was dark, except for some candles arranged in a circle. The floor was covered with some strange symbols written in what looked like chalk, but the edges of the drawings were glowing faintly, like they were alive. My heart started beating fast. In the middle of the room was a table covered with a black cloth. There was a calabash on it and a smell coming from it. Oh God, it was like blood mixed with something rotten. I whispered to Kobe, "Bro, what the fuck?" He just shook his head and said, "Relax, you will understand soon." Obviously, the only reason I wasn't sacked from the place was they actually knew how close I was with my friend. So they thought he would tell me everything that goes on in the campaign. So the only way they could shut me up was to indirectly initiate me into their cult and to force me to see their rituals to instill fear in me. The aspirant entered a few minutes later, followed by 3 men wearing white cloth. They didn't look like ordinary people. One of them was tall and skinny, and his eyes, Charlie, his eyes were too white. No people, nothing. The words were not in Chigan or any language I recognized. It sounded ancient, like something from a horror movie. Then one of the men took a knife and slit the chicken's throat. The blood spilled into the calabash, and as soon as it did, the glow from the symbols on the floor became brighter. One of the men dipped his fingers into the blood and smeared it on the aspirant's forehead, whispering something I couldn't hear. At a day and there, suddenly the tall man's voice boomed through the room. "You will win, but the price has been set. Remember, no betrayal." The aspirant nodded. "I understand. I will do what is required." The moment he said that, the candle flames flickered violently, and I swear I heard something breathe in that room, not a person but something. Afterwards, the aspirant turned to us and said, "Boys, the seat is mine. Let's go back to campaigning tomorrow." Like joke, his voice was so calm, like he hadn't just been part of a blood ritual. The next few weeks were strange. His main opponent, who was leading in popularity, suddenly dropped out of the race, claiming he was sick. Another girl who had been openly criticizing him started having accidents. Like you can tell she's acting strangely. Whenever I see her, I just pity her. She eventually left campus entirely. I know this is giving clues about the SRC aspirant I am talking to some of you, but I don't give a fuck. Fast forward, the aspirant won, but the things didn't end there. Kobe started complaining that he couldn't sleep. He said he would wake up at night and see shadows standing at the foot of his bed. He told me, bro, I think I've made a mistake. One night he called me in tears saying he saw the tall man from the ritual standing in his room smiling. The next day, he packed his bags and went back to Kumasi. I haven't heard from him since. As for me, I cut ties with all of them, but the nightmares haven't stopped. Sometimes I see that glowing floor in my dreams or the chicken's eyes staring at me like it's still alive. And the worst part, that aspirant will be running for an even higher position, and I'm hearing the same rumors. People are falling sick, accidents happening to opponents. I'm telling you this because small time SRC elections will come up again. Some of these aspirants are not human. If you are planning on working for them, be careful. You don't know what they've done and you don't know what they've promised. Sometimes it's better to walk away than to get involved with people who have already sold their souls. Somebody made a comment that corrupt and evil students in Kwa, especially one who completed last year, very wicked boy but acts innocent. So the one writing the story said, I don't know who you are talking about, but I can boldly tell you things they happen for campus, anything political. This is very horrifying, very horrifying and scary. It makes a lot of sense. When you are doing campaigns for people you do not know, even people you know, you should be scared. Nankanka people you don't know, you've just seen that they have money they are spreading, so you want to join the campaigning because the harder you campaign, the more the money they will give you. Sometimes you follow money and go and die. It says stupidity, or because why you don't know somebody but you are so eager to campaign for them. Campaign for them for what? Are you the one going for their position? Aspirants no cry is no campaigning as hard as you've put it on your forehead. Meanwhile, if anything is happening, you pay the price. You were not even the one elected, but you are paying the price for, like, hey, let's just be careful and avoid what we can. Life is already hard, you just never in my life did I think I'd cry because of a woman. I always watch shows like Fresh and Fit and listen to misogynistic advice from people like Andrew Tate and Kevin Samuels, and of course Myron from Fresh and Fit. I hear and see people go through heartbreak and tell myself I'm glad I have never experienced and I will never go through one, as I was happy single until I followed a crowd of womanizing. I don't really womanize, but my eye was caught on this one attractive as fuck looking girl. Jesus, I regret ever taking her number. I slowly acquainted and befriended her, not with a deep intention to date, but to try my luck. Know that all this happened in a rural area far from where I stay, Accra. So of course I will lie to myself and say what could go wrong. You may ask what I was doing there in the first place. There was a building contract I had to complete. As I am a fresh engineering graduate, fast forward, I fell head over heels in love with this bitch and continued to lie to myself even after seeing red flags. Jesus, she told me she loved me. I've spent over 3,000 cedis on her and she calls the teddy bear I bought for her my name. Fast forward again, she was mad at me for some stupid reason, used it as an excuse to break up with me and block me every fucking way. Charlie, but luckily I had her friend's number and called for help. She then called and asked why I involved her friend. I tried to make it up to her, apologized even when I knew I wasn't wrong. Went ahead to buy her a bottle of wine worthy of my life, and guess what? She gladly took it without hesitation. Now she made it clear, although she said it countless times after everything we've been through, that she doesn't love me and never did. But I, in my lying mind, said, oh, maybe she wants me to prove to her that I love her and would do anything. But today, after I gave her the wine, she nicely called me and told me the truth. I don't have what she wants in a man, and she never loved me and never will. I stupidly went on to ask her to give me a chance to prove I can change for her, but she nicely replied with a beautiful no. I should have just taken the advice of Myron Gaines, and now I am lying down with a runny nose. Guess what? Even killed my soul. I asked her, so you're admitting to using me financially and emotionally, right? And guess what her answer was? There is actually more to this. I need any kind of help to heal as fast as possible because this pain is heavier than the universe. I can't. Bro, I haven't finished with the contract. That's what is even making me feel sorry for my mother for having a child who doesn't listen. Now I have to live with seeing her face once a week at least. I don't even know what to say. You're womanizing career and then even before it began. You want to womanize that you're going to fall. How will the career succeed? Womanize, you fall. My stepfather really is hurting me and breaking my heart. He apologizes and does it again, and I think it's intentional. I just want to be able to get over him. I am a girl. He calls to check up and sometimes invites my sister and I to his office and takes us on lunch dates to get us bonded. We don't live together, but the first day my mom brought him and introduced him as our stepfather. My younger sister and I both liked him instantly. He is tall and so handsome and smells good and was so nice to us. Then he started spending nights at our place. I see the way he looks at me and I knew something wasn't right because he doesn't look at my mom with that look of desire in his eyes when we are around. It was a Friday all night service, so I asked my boyfriend to come knowing she won't be back until morning. Fast forward, one night my mom went to church and he came around to look for her and decided to wait for her to return. My younger sister was in school, so I was home alone. I had denied my relation to my boyfriend to my mom because she said she doesn't like men from his tribe and we had to keep it a secret. So I was scared when my stepfather showed up unannounced and decided to stay till morning because he also knows I'm single. I was nervous and he noticed, so he asked me what is wrong and that he wasn't convinced but didn't want to stress on the issue and asked me to get him water and that he will be in the hall watching TV. I don't look okay. I told him I was okay. He insisted I was not my usual self and we can go talk in my room if that will help. I panicked and said, no, please, I am fine. There was no way my boyfriend could leave without my stepdad seeing him. I became so nervous when I sent him the water. I placed the water in front of him and he held my arm and asked me to talk to him and that I am safe with him. He got up and opened his arms and asked me to come and hug him. I became so scared and he asked if a man was in the house. I nodded and tears started rolling down my cheeks because I was so scared. My mom is a deaconess. We hugged and he held on to me and whispered in my ear, "It is fine and whatever it is can stay between us and I can be rest assured he will protect me from my mom no matter what it is." He released me slowly, looked into my eyes and told me that there is nothing to worry about and my secret is safe with him. He went on to advise me on why it is not right for me as a girl to bring my boyfriend home and asked me to go be with him because he also starts worrying. Wait for my stepdad to go into his room and then he can leave. At about a little before 12, my stepdad went to his room and I and my boyfriend ordered an Uber and he left. I went to see him and came back inside. When I was locking the doors, my stepdad asked if everything was okay and I told him yes and that my boyfriend had left. He was angry because I told him I was home alone and was safe for him to come. My boyfriend asked me what happened and I told him my stepdad knows he's here, but it is fine. He will not tell my mother and it's fine. He wasn't comfortable and demanding to leave. He apologized that he messed up my romantic night and would have left if he knew it would be a problem because after all, it's still my mom's house. I felt some way, different emotions running through my mind and body. I went into my room, locked my door, slept on my bed, still wondering if he would tell my mom or not. I told him it's fine. He hugged me and said thanks and have a good night and kissed my forehead. He didn't report me to my mom and that became like our little secret. But he got more friendlier. Sometimes he picks me up from lectures and takes me home, even if he's not sleeping over or even coming inside to say hi to my mom. Few weeks ago, I found out he was flirting with a girl. I was pained but was scared to ask him about it because of how I found out. So one time after school, I went to his office. My mood changed. Before we left the car park, he gave me his phones to hold and his laptop bag, but a text came from an unsaved number and it was about a meeting that night. My mood changed and I was not my usual self. I tried to hide it, but he knew something was off and he saw the text on his phone and knew I had seen it. he apologized and admitted to having an affair with a girl from UPSA. Not that I am in UG. I felt betrayed and hurt. I didn't know if it's for my mom or for myself. He explained that my mom told him no sex till they married because she's a deaconess and he couldn't help but be in another relationship and have a sneaky link. That's all she is. And he wanted to end things with her when he met my mom, but my mom is not making it easy for him, and that is why he's still with her. He showed me their chat and told me he was going to end everything. He's really naughty and essential, and from their chat, the girl seems to be having a great time with him. While scrolling, I saw his nude and he's not just tall in height. I understood him because he's keeping my secret, so it will make us even if I also kept his. Their conversation turned me on and I started feeling some way. He's really good with sexting and the girl seemed always satisfied and was always looking forward to the next. Fast forward, we got more closer in the coming days. I was so aroused reading their messages, and from that night I couldn't stop fantasizing about him. Anytime I saw him, I would just be creating scenarios in my head. Last 2 weeks Friday, my stepdad called me and asked if I could come see him in his office because he wanted us to go and get some things for the Christmas holidays for the house and for my sister too. I was in a straight dress that was above my knee. When I sat down, my dress pulled back and a large part of my skin was visible, so I covered it with my bag. When I got to his office, his floor was almost empty. Only the receptionist was still in the seat. I am a familiar face, so she just ushered me to his office. He left and asked if I was covering up because of him. He smirked and asked me to feel free and that I can take the bag off my thighs. I asked why he was staring that much and if anything was wrong. He just stared and smiled, touched my thigh and said nothing. He kept staring at me with that desire in his eyes and would stare at my thighs for seconds and then look at my nipples and then straight into my eyes and smile. He left his hand on my thigh for some seconds and told me he's sorry for getting involved with another girl and that he had ended things with her because he didn't like how I felt after finding out about her. He showed me their chat ending things with her. I felt some relief in that moment. If he had wanted to sleep with me, I would not have resisted. I was so aroused already with everything that was going on. This story is depressing. Very depressing, like from the head to the bottom of it. I don't even understand. It's complicated though. It's very complicated. And if you notice, it's no easy. It seems like she's falling in love with her mother's boyfriend or something. People to be calming down. Guys, so we've come to the end of today's video. Thank you for watching and please subscribe and see you in my next one.